Bitcoin is often praised as the future of money, digital gold, and a symbol of financial freedom. But what if the shiny promises you hear are only half the truth? What if the real story of Bitcoin is not as perfect as the headlines make it seem? Today, we're going to break through the hype, the marketing slogans, and the success stories that dominate the conversation. We'll uncover the actual reality of Bitcoin, things that most people never question, things hidden from those who only follow blindly. Once you understand these, your view of Bitcoin will never be the same again. Before we unfold the dark reality of Bitcoin, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That way, you won't miss the next part of this series or any of my future updates on Bitcoin and the world of money. Bitcoin began with a bold promise, a decentralized currency free from banks, governments, and manipulation. This vision ignited a movement. People believed it would give power back to ordinary individuals. But in reality, Bitcoin today is far from the dream it started with. Studies show that a huge percentage of Bitcoin is owned by a very small group of investors, often called whales. Instead of being a truly decentralized asset of the people, it's now concentrated in the hands of a few. That sounds a lot more like the old financial system than a revolutionary new one. This leads us to the illusion of decentralization. On the surface, Bitcoin appears leaderless. There's no single government or central authority in charge. That sounds empowering, but when we look closer, things change. The majority of Bitcoin's mining power lies in just a few mining pools. These pools are often based in regions where electricity costs are lowest, giving them a competitive edge. But by concentrating control in such few hands, the power shifts. If some of these big players ever decided to coordinate, they could potentially manipulate transactions, raising serious questions about how decentralized Bitcoin really is. Some people comfort themselves by thinking at least Bitcoin is anonymous. Many believe using it keeps them invisible to surveillance. But the truth is almost the opposite. Every transaction is permanently recorded on the blockchain forever. Your name may not appear, but your wallet address can be tracked, analyzed, and connected to your identity. In fact, entire companies are dedicated to tracing Bitcoin movements, and governments use this very data. So, instead of being truly private, Bitcoin transactions leave behind a permanent public trail that can be followed at any time. Even if we ignore privacy, another hidden truth emerges: the energy cost of Bitcoin. Mining Bitcoin requires immense computational power, which comes with massive electricity consumption. Reports have shown Bitcoin's energy usage at times rivaling that of entire countries. Supporters may argue that renewable energy can reduce the impact, but in reality, much of the mining is still fueled by fossil energy. This means every spike in Bitcoin's popularity could also mean huge amounts of energy burned in the background, silently adding to environmental concerns that aren't often mentioned by its biggest fans. But energy isn't the only hidden problem. Let's talk about something that affects everyone holding Bitcoin: its volatility. While Bitcoin is often branded as a store of value like gold, in reality, it's anything but stable. Prices can climb thousands of dollars in a matter of days, then crash even more quickly. For early adopters or whales buying at low prices, this volatility can mean massive profits. But for everyday followers who get in late, often when the hype is loudest, it can create devastating losses. Many people have poured life savings into Bitcoin, only to watch them crumble and the price crash overnight. The dream of financial freedom can suddenly turn into financial ruin. And this brings us to the most important question: who really benefits from Bitcoin? If so many people lose money during the crash, and if decentralization is more myth than fact, we need to ask ourselves who comes out on top. The answer isn't hard to find. Large institutional players, massive holders, and powerful mining networks keep winning, while smaller investors act as exit liquidity. They're the ones buying high during the hype and selling low during the panic, feeding profits to those who control the system from the top. As you can see, the reality of Bitcoin is layered with contradictions. What was designed to empower ordinary people often ends up burdening them. What was branded as free from manipulation is still impacted by a handful of powerful players. And what was supposed to bring privacy and freedom actually leads a permanent digital trail. Each of these truths slowly chips away at the original promise. And yet, this is just the surface. These are the problems you could discover if you dig deep enough. But behind these visible flaws lies an even darker side of Bitcoin that most people never hear about. A reality that connects not only to money, but also to governments, surveillance, and global power dynamics. And that's exactly what we'll uncover in the next part. The dark reality of Bitcoin that nobody wants to talk about.